biggest engines east of the Mississippi were not rostered by the biggest railroads. There were no legendary articulateds racing along the New York Central's water level route or charging over the Pensy's Horseshoe curve. It was the smaller, scrappier eastern roads dedicated to wrestling coal out of Appalachia, the C&O, N&W, Virginian, Clinchfield, Western Maryland, that owned articulateds rivaling anything in the West. And the king of them all was the Chesapeake, Ohio's Class H8 Allegheny. The Allegheny was the brainchild of Lima Locomotive Works, where the superpower steam concept had been invented in the 1920s. Like the big boy, it was designed to lift monstrous loads over one specific piece of railroad, the 80 miles between Hinton, West Virginia and Clifton Forge, Virginia, a coal route from the mines over the summit of the Allegheny Mountains toward Tidewater ports. The engine took its name from the mountain range it traversed, and delivery of the initial order of 10 locomotives began just days after Pearl Harbor and a few months after the first big war. The C&O was so pleased with the giant engines that it ordered 50 more over the next 7 years. Fellow coal hauler Virginian took delivery of 8 copies in early 1945, naming them Class AG Blue Ridge types. Typical service on the C&O was lifting 140 loaded hoppers out of Hinton with one H8 on the point and another pushing at the rear and cutting off after the mountain summit was reached. About a third of the engines were equipped with the steam, heat, and signal lines for wartime passenger and mail service, where they could reach their maximum speed of 60 miles per hour. Later in their careers, some H8s were assigned to fodder territory in Ohio and Kentucky, where a single Allegheny could walk away with 160-car freight line. When the final H8s were retired in 1956, number 1601 steamed under its own power to Dearborn, Michigan, to become a permanent exhibit in the Henry Ford Museum. The one other surviving Allegheny, number 1604, resides today in the B&O Railroad Museum in Baltimore, Maryland.